I have with me Jerome Corsi. He's a PhD, head of the Washington, D.C. News Bureau for Alex Jones and Infowars.com. He is the author of several books, including the latest, Killing the Deep State, The Fight to Save President Trump. Jerome, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Jesse Lee, great to be with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
What is the deep state?
Deep state is really a term for the intelligence agencies and the Justice Department, the FBI, which act under their own agenda. And we see now under President Obama, what happened is the Justice Department became very strongly partisan, and it was determined to prevent Donald Trump from winning the election, or if he won the election, to get this so-called insurance policy where he could be impeached over Russia collusion, which does not seem to be the case, isn't provable. And Donald Trump is really continues to be in the middle of a battle to fight to save his presidency against the efforts of this deep state to get him impeached.
So if we know this now and it's been proven, why is it that they don't go after Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, the FBI, and others who were involved in this?
I think you've had a real bias. I mean, take a look at what we've seen now with these emails between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, these two who are very prominent in the FBI. They were in Andrew McCabe's office, really number 2 or number 3 in the FBI, and they're saying that they hate Donald Trump and that they're really going to do everything they can to advance this lie in this Fusion GPS dossier that the FBI could not validate, full of lies, as the basis of their Russian collusion argument, and going to the FISA court to get electronic surveillance over Donald Trump's campaign. Many of these people are still in the FBI and the Department of Justice. And I think the frustration Donald Trump faces is that, the entrenched powers of the mainstream media behind this kind of new world order, open borders, democratic caucus in the deep state is entrenched, and he's going to have to first get beyond the Mueller investigation, and then I think begin a special prosecutor investigation of the Democrats as part of a counterattack that I think is coming.
Why didn't President Trump get rid of all the people who were attached to Barack Obama when he first went into office?
It's really a problem. You've got, Jesse Lee, all these entrenched bureaucrats with this whole civil service system, this SES, which is a system where people are protected in the bureaucracy and not able to be fired. You can't just come in and demand that people leave. I mean, and then to the extent that President Trump wanted to say to people, resign, he faced great political opposition because the Democrats think they have a right to control the government, whether they're in power or not.
Yeah.
And that's the attempt to control things through this deep state bureaucracy that stays in power after Obama leaves and just refuses to do any new policies that President Trump might want to put into effect or to investigate itself, which it's clearly not going to do.
You said the Trump administration was right to fire the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. And President Trump has been tweeting about it.
Yes, well, McCabe, the Inspector General's report, which is coming out, Michael Horowitz, who, by the way, was appointed by President Obama when Hillary was angry that the FBI began again the investigation of her emails after Anthony Weiner's laptop was found to have all these emails from the State Department.
Right.
So Horowitz has said basically that McCabe has lied to Congress, he's leaked information, and requested that he be dismissed, which in fact he was dismissed, and now he's been fired. And that's a two-step process that I think is entirely justified, given that McCabe has committed what I think are going to amount to serious crimes, including framing General Flynn. What's clear is that Peter Strzok was the one who interviewed General Flynn, and then McCabe and Strzok rewrote his interrogation outline and his summary in order to, I think, create the lie, because FBI Director Comey, after General Flynn's interview, said he did not believe that General Flynn had lied. And yet suddenly General Flynn was indicted on this basis. And I think it's one that's an unjust prosecution of someone who never lied.
Will McCabe end up going to prison eventually?
I think once Donald Trump has the opportunity to set in place a counterattack, and we're in the very early stages of it, because now Jeff Sessions, as Attorney General, has something like 27 leak investigations going. A prosecutor from outside Washington is investigating this whole FISA court process. There's investigations going on of Hillary Clinton and the foundation in Arkansas and by the FBI. So we're in the early stages, I think, where the tables are going to get turned and the Democrats are going to panic that they ever raise these issues. They can't prove Russian collusion, Jesse Lee. They can't prove it. But at the same time, I think there's abundant proof that the Democrats committed crimes in the Justice Department and the FBI in order to try to prevent Donald Trump from being president.
Are you aware of any other corrupt government administration as Barack Obama?
I think Barack Obama is one of the most corrupt we've had in our history. You take a look at the meeting, just for instance, that Loretta Lynch, as Attorney General, had with Bill Clinton on the tarmac. Yeah. While Hillary Clinton's investigation of her emails was going on. That certainly looked like a fix-it interview. McCabe's wife got something like $700,000 from Terry McAuliffe when he was governor of Virginia, a buddy of the Clintons, in order to run for a state office, state senate in Virginia. And yet McCabe did not recuse himself, stayed in the case. I think that's inappropriate, conflict of interest. All these, I think, are part of the corruption. You couldn't get the Obama administration to investigate anything that had to do with the culpability of the Democrats. They were all excused. And yet this Russian collusion has only produced an indictment against 13 Russians. And, even Rod Rosenstein said that those Russians did not affect the election, and that President Trump nor anybody in his staff was involved in colluding with those Russians. Those Russians are in Russia. They'll never come here and face trial. It was kind of a pathetic indictment.
Yeah. It's so amazing, too. I have a Democratic friends and family members, and you can't convince them that President Trump had nothing to do, had no collusion going on with Russia at all, because these people are watching MSNBC and CNN, and they're believed into a lie, just kind of deep-rooted now, and it doesn't matter to them that it's a lie. It's been said.
Well, when I wrote this book, Killing the Deep State, one of the main points I make is that President Trump's under a propaganda attack. You say, okay, Russian collusion, and it can't be defeated by evidence. So Donald Trump says there's no evidence of Russian collusion. There's no indictments. And Mueller says, well, we just haven't looked far enough. If we keep looking, we'll find it. And that's what the people who are so against Donald Trump think, because it's propaganda. They're not judging it by reality. Yeah. The way you've got to beat a propaganda attack is to undermine your attackers, and by showing the corruption in this Strzok and Page and McCabe, all the rigging of the processes against Donald Trump, that the electronic surveillance. I mean, what if the electronic surveillance had been conducted on Hillary's campaign based on a Republican Party opposition research report? Yeah. The Democrats would have been insane. They would have been going
They would have had a hissy fit.
Yeah, so turn the tables around and you can see how ridiculous this is. And
Yeah.
I think it's quickly going to develop into where the Democrats are sorry that they ever attacked President Trump this strongly and that didn't relent. I wrote 2 chapters in this book, Killing the Deep State, where it's clear that Hillary and John Podesta were conspiring and working with Russia. They were making millions of dollars. I even list the bank accounts through which Russia paid Hillary and Podesta.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Military technology was sold under reset to Russia, and the uranium one, where now Russia has control of 20% of U.S. uranium, and some of that left the country, contrary to promises it wouldn't, and ended up evidently in North Korea. These are facts, and people have a hard time accepting them if they're partisan.
The book is Killing the Deep State, The Fight to Save President Trump. Jerome, thank you so much for coming on with me. I appreciate it. We have to have you back.
It's a great pleasure and honor. Thank you.
All right.